Okay, so this is module 7, engaging with assessment for learning. So by the end of the session, you'll have had the opportunity to identify key concepts, characteristics, and purpose of AFL. If you don't know what that means, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Assessment
Select,
for learning.
yes, assessment for learning, good. And select and examine assessment activities which promote learning and apply assessment for learning activities to different activities. Okay, so let's see. What is this? So, can you tell me if when you were younger, when you were in school, which of these do you think you did? Put it in
Yes.
if you'd like, just to begin, just write in the chat now.
Okay. Can I talk about this?
Yes, Ibrahim, if you
Uh,
prefer, you can speak. It's okay.
yes. I think that sorry, when we were younger, we usually use what we called formative.
Yes.
Yes. Formative. Sorry. Yes, formative. No, summative. It's not
Summative.
included.
Yes, like normal
Summative.
exams where you have numbers. Yes.
Yes. Formative usually done by the teacher. It is integrated during the semester
Mhm.
because helps learning and teacher to decide what to do and where to go next, like this.
Okay.
But yes, when we were younger, I think that we usually do summative. Peer assessment or self-assessment, I think they are new. They are
Yes.
newly, yes.
Quite new. Okay. Is there anybody in this group who's maybe a little bit younger who may have seen this in their classrooms when they were students?
Maybe peer assessment.
Okay.
I used to did that with my sorry, with my colleagues, and informally we said that, did I do great today? Did I answer correctly?
Mm. So
Something like
it
that.
wasn't instructed by the teacher. It was more you asking each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Did you have, so which of these are formative and which of these are summative? What do you think?
Um, Formal
Summative is yes, summative is done at the end of the semester,
Mhm.
and formative during the semester. It is
Mm.
an ongoing process.
Okay.
And peer assessment and self-assessment, I think they can be done what we call, informative.
Yes, yes, and Dua's put this in the chat also. She said that peer and self-assessment are formative. Good, thanks, Dua. And everybody else is talking in the chat about formal assessment. So yes, so we can call probably summative assessment, right? Okay, good. So which of the following type of assessments do you do in your class? So have you changed your way of assessing? So if you all had summative assessment in the past or formal assessment, do you do the same with your students?
Uh, yes. As for me, Miss Andy, يعني openly speaking, frank speaking, I use a variety of assessments.
Mhm.
Sometimes I use formative, some summative, self-assessment, peer assessment. We try to make something new and to use various. Really, I use various kinds of assessments. I don't stick myself to one type of
Mhm.
assessment, like
Um,
in the traditional way or the traditional method.
have you done this since you began teaching or just recently?
Not recently. At the beginning of
Okay,
of my teaching, I usually do what we call summative assessment.
okay, and gradually you're moving towards formative assessment.
Yes, because this is the regulations of the Ministry of Education. In the
Okay,
past, yes, we did what we call the traditional method, but nowadays the matter is different.
okay. Right.
Yes.
So we didn't really do any task, but we're just having a discussion and looking at the different areas. So we were looking at this. We talked about what is summative and what is formative. We talked about what you did in the past and what you do now. So after that, you just saw this slide. So this is like assessment of maybe ourselves. So sometimes when the students are assessing themselves, it's normally a reflection of our teaching. So how did you find this task? So feedback. You don't have to put anything very exciting. So this task was interesting, okay, boring, difficult, easy. What would you put in the chat? You can put what you like. I will not be offended. Just looking to see who's come into the session now. Okay, so welcome back. I can see you here. So you can write in the chat if you can. Okay, somebody's put easy. Yeah, we're just having a discussion, just talking about this. Not too much effort was required. We're just like having a warmer for assessment, right? Interesting, okay.
Interesting and easy.
Yeah. And it's a reflection a little bit about ourselves, what we think about assessment. Okay, that's fine. What other ways can learners and teachers assess learning? So can you think of other ways that we can assess the learning? So we're talking about assessment for learning, AFL. So I'd like you to work in breakout rooms and think about of all the possible ways that you can assess your learners, okay? Just going to have a look in the chat. A warm up for the session. Thanks, Asma. Okay, so let's go into the breakout rooms now and decide of all the many possibilities you have for assessment for learning, okay? So I'm just going to put you into, I think 4 is enough, really, 4 breakout rooms. Yeah, there are about 3 or 4 of you in each group, hopefully, okay? So just work together for a few minutes and then come back and we'll talk about it, okay?
Okay.
Can you see your room? See if you can tap to join. If not, you can stay with me and talk to me. It's okay. Abir, Arif, Asma, if you like, you can speak to me in the chat. Can you open your microphone? Okay. Dina, have you managed to fix your computer? Are you able to do any more modules?
Yeah, I'm working for it. Sorry.
Okay, don't worry.
But
I will look on Monday morning because Monday morning is when I look at people's progress.
yeah, I'm not fixed it. I wanna buy something new, you know?
Yeah,
This
I
is why I'm
understand.
late.
It's annoying if you can't get the right device to do a course like this. I understand.
Everything, unfortunately. Even my schoolwork, I can't do it.
Yeah, that must be such a pain for you. And computers are
Sorry?
they're expensive, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true. It's very
That's the problem.
expensive, but I will buy one new soon, very soon, inshallah.
Hmm.
Can you
The time,
suggest a good slide?
the
Sorry?
time is over for breaking rooms, or what time
Okay,
is
Yeah,
it?
I
I think
think
everybody's
so.
back. Everybody's come back now, right? Okay, and
Yes, yes.
Asma has come out and she's gone back in. Okay, here we are. Okay, so what did you talk about? What activities do you have for assessment? What do you do to assess your students or
Hello,
for
hello,
them to
hello.
assess? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I talked with the teacher Ibrahim about the
Hmm.
some points of assessment in our school. We agreed that we have assessment for learning and assessment of learning, but usually we do assessment for learning because it happened during the lesson, and we need to follow our learners' achievement in the lesson.
Hmm.
What did they do, or have they done the goals that we are going to achieve? In assessment for learning, the teacher gives learner success criteria to follow. In this case, I think the teacher follow up the learner's achievement, and after they meet the goal,
Yeah,
if they didn't achieve achievement, if they didn't meet the achievement goal, teacher give the learners another chance to improve.
exactly. Yeah, it's like it's making in progress. So it's like
Yeah,
they're working on it slowly.
because we don't have delayed work. Uh, it's, it's not like the assessment of learning. In assessment of learning, the teacher may take the work at home and needs to give it back again the next day. So it takes longer time.
Mhm.
While in assessment for learning, I think in the same period, the teacher could give the learners the achievement or have they met the criteria, success criteria or not.
Mhm. Okay. So Asma,
Because
I think
because
Asma's,
of
yes, go ahead, Ibrahim.
yes, because of learning here, it is timed to a specific time. But for learning, it is an ongoing process.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yes, yeah.
We need to give them some space and time to do things. We can't rush everything for them and expect them all to learn at the same time. So they are seeing their difficulties and what they can do well and not so well at. So it's just it's a work in progress,
Uh,
right?
uh, concerning peer assessment, I think it is difficult. Sometimes we find it
Mm.
difficult, especially in the primary stage. The learners cannot assess their each other. They don't have specific criteria to assess each other. And also, we see sometimes where there is a kind of jealousy between our learners.
Yes.
Maybe he couldn't give the right assessment for his classmate, or he want to demotivate his classmate or underestimate
Yes.
his achievement. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so there can be some unhealthy competition or maybe a little bit of bullying as well. So
Yeah,
we have to be
yeah, something.
careful. Yeah, like how we can make it, they have to give maybe positive feedback and they
Yeah,
can't,
maybe.
yeah, and
Yes.
maybe not, they can't,
Self-assessment
yeah.
self-assessment, I think it is better than peer assessment
Mhm. Okay.
because
With
maybe he
respect,
will be.
yes,
Yeah,
with respect to peer assessment for basic stages, they don't do peer assessment. They bite each other.
I think
yeah,
maybe if
yeah.
there's like groups against each other, it won't work. It's like playing football. They want a winning team. But if it's
Yes.
maybe in pairs or in very small groups, maybe they will give honest reflection of each other. But maybe if it's like two opposing teams, they just want to get more points. So it's more like maybe a little bit unhealthy competition, right? So, but if it's, as you said, self-assessment, it could be more effective. The learner is taking ownership of their learning process, which can be
High
better.
level, as you know, high level achievement learners, everyone want to be the best. Everyone, I want to be the best one. So I don't think he will give the high grades or good assessment for his classmate.
Okay. So it's like a cutthroat competition in your classes then.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So thank you for that. Can you think of any other activities? Because I think that Abir put in the chat role play. So how could that be for assessment? Do you want to explain, Abir? Abir put role play. Mutlak, I think it was, yes. Do you want to explain that? Or you can put it in the chat if you prefer. By acting. Okay, so if the assessment is like, would you give them can-do statements to do at the end for self-assessment afterwards? Would you have something for them to fill in before so that they can think about what they have to do and then try to do it and then see what they would give themselves later? What do you think for a speaking activity, right, Abir? So that they're like assessing themselves.
Hello, everybody.
Yes.
Sometimes I assist my students by giving them a subject. Then I tell them to make a role play about the subject. Then I make them present by acting in pairs or in groups.
Yes, I did that yesterday in my class, and they had to talk about the weather. So to make it funny, because these children are 12 and 13 years old, so they wouldn't really ever talk about the weather. So I said, okay, imagine you are your grandparents talking about the weather.
They
And
were
I
happy.
and they liked that. Okay, I said, you are the granny and you are the granny's friends. And they had to talk about the weather for future, for this weekend, for Christmas, and for next summer. So they all had they're talking about the same topic, the same language, but just slightly different conversations. And they had to listen to each other. So that was really good. Anybody else?
May I?
Yes, Dina, go ahead.
Face reflection can be a very good assessment, especially for weak student when they cannot speak. So when you try to assess them if are they happy with this activity or this lesson, they
Yeah,
can use emojis.
exactly. So we need to know how they feel about an activity because sometimes the assessment is on us as to if the activity is really worth doing again in your class or not. So if they're happy
Yep.
with the activity, and then it'll help them to perform better if they like it. So it's all about them and us working together to help them with their assessment and their development. So yeah, good point. The emojis are good and are popular at all ages, and it's a very simple, direct feedback. It could be a piece of paper that they put in their notebooks with their face. It could be a color. You like in the video, there's a video of children with traffic light colors with the cards, and they just pull up screen, red, and you could use it for like if they thought an activity was difficult, red, or they didn't like the activity, which is different, red. So you can decide what you want the colors to represent, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Arwaz put traffic lights emojis. We also after each unit self-assessment exactly. So normally at the end of each unit in your book, there's like the typical can-do statements referring to specific language in the unit. Do you normally use that or not? To be honest, I tend to avoid it, but I think I should use it more. What do you do? Do you use it? So anything that you think that you don't normally do, but maybe you should, it's always worth trying. I have to do that sometimes. Okay, otherwise admitting not always. Okay. So maybe you're a little bit like me. Okay, let's go back now to the slides. And here are some more. So have a look at these slowly. I'll give you some time to look and think about them. And tell me which ones you think we haven't spoken about, okay? Does anybody live near the Al-Shara Mountains in this group? No?
Sorry, what's
Does anybody live in the Al-Shara, excuse my pronunciation, the Al-Shara Mountains or near there?
الشراء
Yes.
الشراء mountains جبال الشراء مين من الربع يا جماعة ساكن هناك؟
It's because apparently there's snow there right now. There's snow falling.
in which city?
One second. I'm not sure. I don't understand. Mashallah, could it be? I don't know what she's saying here. But there's snow falling, but I think it's more than snow, it's ice. It's just from a group WhatsApp from a different group, but this is the size of the ice. Can you see that on the ground?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, I'm sorry. But apparently it's snowing. Floods, thunder, and lightning. Snowfall, they're saying.
Yeah,
So there's somewhere where there's snow falling in Jordan. So that's very, very interesting.
It's
Yeah.
it's one of the highest mountain in Jordan.
Okay, so it must be snow up there then, because I've just been given
Yeah.
photos by one of my students from the next class. Okay. Have you found anything that you thought, oh, we didn't speak about that? Tell me, which numbers did we not speak about?
3,
Number 3, okay.
5,
5,
7,
7,
8.
yes. But that's okay. So do you know what they are? So I think you might know what KWL is, don't you?
What to know, when to know, and what.
So
learned.
what to know, wants to know, and what's learned. What you know, what you want to know, and what is learned. Okay, so I can give you a link about that later. In the, if you like, I can give it to you in the forum when I leave the recording link there. Okay. But it's about examining that, what you already know, what you want to know, and what you have learned. And you can make a little
Yes.
table and they can fill it in for you. What about traffic lights? We mentioned that exit tickets. Okay, exit tickets. What do you think? What is this?
I like this activity.
Okay, explain then, Dina. Go
So,
ahead.
yeah, it's about having a sticker or a card, writing what you learn or what you like most about the session,
Exactly.
or you leave a comment to the presenter.
Exactly. And I have something here that I can show you that I was using
Yeah.
yesterday.
My pleasure.
This I'll just pull it out because I've got it here and it's in different colors. But I gave them exit tickets yesterday in my class. And they even colored in the tickets. I gave them the tickets at the beginning of the class. So when the good ones who were getting bored or the ones who get distracted were filling it in, which I don't know if it's a very good thing if they're getting bored, but you can just see here, I'll just show it to you now. So it's like that. They could fill in their information, what I learned, and a question I have, like that. It looks like this. Can you see that?
Yeah, I like that.
So they can cut around it. So some of them have cut around it like a real ticket and they've colored it in and they filled it in for me. So some of them got a little bit excited coloring in and filling in and they gave it to me at the end of the class. So yeah, it's a nice little thing, nice little activity for them to do. And it's good if you have a photocopier that you can use and you can make them because it's just one sheet of maybe 12 and you just cut out and you can give it to them.
Yeah.
Or they can make their own. You don't have to use something from the internet. You can just get them to make their own exit tickets and they can be really original with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Post-it notes. What could you do with post-it notes? Who has any ideas for this?
Post-it notes.
Hello.
I think students write their notes and stick it on the board.
Yes. You could have
Mhm.
different categories on the board and they choose where they want to put the sticker. It could be to do with I have learned 8 words today, and they can put their name on the post-it note and put it there. I have learned 6 words today and put their name there. And they have to be honest and put maybe other words they can write before they come to the board, write the words they can remember and then put it on the board. Or it can be you giving them direct feedback. So it's my teacher-student feedback. So not really self or peer assessment, but when you're monitoring them, you can go around with a post-it note, put something like a smiley face or something, and put it beside them and they can look and check to see what you have written. Okay. Or they can be doing it with each other as peer assessment. So of course, post-it notes can be used for many things. What about 2 stars and a wish? What's this?
Yes, if the students answer the questions good, I will give them 2 stars. If not, I will give them 1 star.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, for the teacher. But if the student uses it as self-assessment, what can they do?
Mhm.
So maybe after doing a project or an activity that was quite, they had to spend time doing it and putting in a lot of effort. They've got like 2 stars, could be like 2 things that they did well, so they deserve a star. They write what they were, like I was good at my speaking and I spoke very clearly and carefully. Um, I structured my talk and used the correct linkers, for example. These are like 2 things. And then the speech bubble that you can see on the right of the screen here, which is the wish, something they would like to improve on. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
And this could be used for peer or self-assessment, really. Okay. And the rest, I
You,
think we've covered. What who wanted to speak there? Go ahead.
yes, you mean by a wish, which means that you praise them instead of
No,
saying,
what they wish they could do better at, what their wish is for improving for later
um,
in a different lesson.
yes, in order not to frustrate them, yes?
Yes, because you're making it positive, because you're giving them, okay, give me 2 things you did well, because sometimes they don't really believe in themselves and say, no, 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 that you were good because you had very good, imagine the pronunciation was awful, they made mistakes, but the content, the ideas were really funny or original or good. They spent a long time doing it, and they can say, I worked really hard. I was original. Okay, we don't have to completely ruin it by saying, oh, that language that you used, you kept repeating the same words, or oh, spelling. But think about keeping it positive to make them feel motivated, and then think about what they need to improve. I need to work on my accuracy. I need to read the vocabulary carefully to spell correctly, something like that. You don't want to push them too much. Do you agree?
Yes.
I mean, you can say
Yes.
no. I mean, if you want, you could make like 2 wishes and a star. But that would, I think, that wouldn't be so nice, would it?
Two wishes.
But you have to keep it positive for them, Keeping it positive is good.
Two
Uh,
wishes. When we write 2 wishes, which means this is a sign of bad news for them.
yeah. But just if they can at least improve on one thing, it's as we talked about before, it's a slow process. It's like they're building blocks. It's a slow process, and some people just need more time than others. So yeah, we don't want to squash their motivation completely. Okay, and then we have these like summary sentences. Did we talk about that in number 1? Summary sentences. And
No,
you could prepare sentences and they can fill in what they want with what you have prepared, what you want them to put in. So you give them a prompt. What did you want to say, Dina?
just I want to say that we skipped the first 2 points.
Oh, yes. Okay. So number 1 is like those like you can see on the right, you have I like da 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 because. So you have to think carefully about what you want them to consider at the end of the lesson. So it's really good for us as teachers to think about what do I want them to have achieved? Will they like this activity? So think about what you can put for them on the board. So maybe, and you can leave this until the last minute. So you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to write this sentence and they can fill it in. So think about what you really want them to get out of the activity and see what they say. Sometimes they can surprise you and they like the activity more than you think, or they really hate it. So it's good first to know if the activity is a success and if you want to repeat it again. Okay. And here it says, I think next time you should. Well, I wouldn't say you, I would put I should da da da, because you could change you to I, or if it's a peer assessment, it's you, of course, they're talking to each other. Okay. What about pair share?
I think it's means think with your colleague or with your partner about something and share it to the audience.
Yes, they could be sharing it with the audience. They could be mutually assessing each other in some way so that they are doing an activity together and they share the assessment as a unit. It could be like that, and think about their strong and weak points. If it's like a mutual performance of something, like role play or something like that. Okay,
Yeah.
let's look at the next one. So here, look at the lesson tasks. Choose what type of assessment you could do for each activity and say why or how you would do it. So think about if you would change this activity in some way. For example, Simon says. So here, imagine we are learning about you're in primary school, teaching a primary class. The typical thing, you'd say, Simon says, touch your nose. Simon says, whatever. So you're checking to see if they know the parts of the body, or Simon says, turn around, or parts of the classroom at the beginning of the year. Simon says, touch the door, or touch the notice board, or touch the blackboard. If it's possible, if your class isn't too big. But that would be a form of assessment, right? I want you to look at the other ones and see what else you could do with them, okay? Maybe you can choose one or two. Maybe you have your own favorite activity that you do, and you can tell us later. So I'm going to put you back into the breakout rooms now. And I'm just going to put this for you in the chat so that you can see it. And I'll add it also to the group WhatsApp. If anybody isn't in the group WhatsApp, you can please tell me and I'll give you an invitation. We don't use it too much, just enough for anybody who's got any questions or anything like that. And sometimes somebody leaves some funny thing, but we try to keep it to minimum because we know how busy you can get sometimes. Okay, I'm just looking for the group WhatsApp, 1 second. Find it now. And here, okay. Somebody very cleverly put the calendar in the photo, which is very good. Now I can't use it because suddenly my computer is stalled. I'm waiting for it to unlock itself so I can put the photo in. But can you see I suppose you can see the picture. If you want to take a screenshot, you can as well. Okay, it's just stalling for me for the moment. So I'm just going to, do you think you can remember this? Just think about an activity that you can do. So you can see that it says, for example, you have Simon says, teacher tells a story, teacher is explaining grammar to the students. So how can you make this an assessment activity? Flashcard games, how? Students write down the words they learned from that lesson week, how? Students read a text and answer questions about it. So in what way can you make it an assessment activity? Try to keep it original. And the students make a puppet or a mask. So think about these activities or something else that you can use that maybe you're thinking about for your assignment, which would be really useful for you for us. And you can think about that. Are you ready then? If I can put it into the WhatsApp group later, I'll do it for you, but for the moment I can't. Okay, You can go into your rooms. Yes, question?
No,
if-
that's not a question.
If anybody can put it in there themselves, please do. If not, I'll try in a minute. Okay, go.
Okay.
Mrs. Andy, I'm not in a group.
Okay, I'm just looking because I can see that somebody's unassigned. I'm going to
Okay.
put you in now. 1 second. I'll see if I can get you in again. 1 second. I'll put you into room 2. Okay. Okay, and Basha, what about you? Can you get into a room as well? So, Asma, can you get in? Okay. And Bashar, can I get you into a room now? Can you speak to me in the chat then if you can't get into a room or you can't speak? I think you're working, aren't you? Hi, Abir. Did you manage to talk to anybody about it? Did you have any ideas? Okay. Did you manage to have a good conversation about different types of assessment? What did you think of?
Yes, I have been with Mr. Becker. Mr. Becker, yes, can you talk a little about this point, Mr. Becker?
He hasn't come back in again, so we'll have to wait.
Yes, yeah, he's running.
He's just
He-
here. He is. Okay, he's here now.
yes.
Okay, so Bakr, you've been asked to speak. So he's giving you so Ibrahim is giving you the floor.
Yeah, hello.
You know,
Yeah.
You know why I ask him to talk a little about this, because all of what he says is from his mind, which means that his opinion. Yes,
Great.
he talks
Thank you.
about.
I
Yes,
thank you, Teacher Ibrahim. Yeah, I see you always my
yes.
classmate here in this group.
The most welcome. Yes.
So what ideas did you have?
Thank you. Yeah, we discussed, we talked assessment of learning and assessment for learning. We choose some point, but we couldn't remember all the points that you have
Oh, that's
showed
okay.
us,
I'll show it to you so that you can see again, and you can keep talking 1 second.
again. Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. Here we are. Hopefully it's in the right place. Here you are.
Yeah, we talked about point six,
5.
six
Yes.
or five. Yeah, point 5. Students write down the words they have learned at that last week. Yeah, in this activity, I think teacher could use assessment of learning, because learners are going to write down what have learned in the last week or the last lesson, and the teacher take their works, take it from his learners and graded it, and then give it back again.
Yes.
It's assessment of learning, and we talked about also about the third point, explaining a grammar. No, um,
About
yeah,
Simon says. About Simon says the first point.
Mhm.
When we say about this, we can apply what we call peer assessment.
Mhm.
Yes, peer
yeah,
assessment, asking his colleague or his friend in order to comment or to comment on what he says
yeah.
or
Also,
what.
we talked about point six. Point six. Yeah, students
Yeah.
read the text and answer a question. Yeah, in
Yes.
this case, I think teachers could use assessment for learning, because it is ongoing assessment, and the learners are going to read the text and find out the answer.
Yes.
During the lesson, the teacher could check their answers, and if they are not correct, he could ask them to correct it and try
Yeah.
again. It's
You
assessment
mean
for
you mean formative assessment?
yeah, informative assessment for learning in point six, point 6.
Mhm.
Yes.
And when they don't get the
We did
correct
it.
answer, they have to find the answer themselves. So they have to, acknowledge where the real correct answer is and underline it in the text. So, that kind of idea of assessment for learning, where they have to be in charge of finding the correct answer also.
Yeah.
And yes, the other steps are left for people in Jordan.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, somebody else. Who'd else like to speak?
Yes, we have talked about the first 3 points. First of all, let's talk about tell a story. Teacher tell a story. We said that after the teacher told the story to the students, uh, he can check the students if they understood the story or not by using summary sentence or post-it.
Yes, good.
Yes, they can ask the students to write their notes. The story is about, for
Mhm.
example, or my favorite part is blah blah blah, and stick it in the board.
Great, lovely. So you can see
Mhm.
how much they can understand by giving them post-it notes. Very good. And
Yes.
filling in this, like finishing the sentence is nice. If you give them
Mhm.
a comprehension check, that's just traditional summative. But if you get them to finish sentences, have their own ideas, their impression of the story and why, so they're not open-ended questions, but you can have open-ended questions or yes/no questions. Okay.
Mhm. Also about the first point, Simon says, we can use thumbs up. For example, we want to check their answers quickly. So if the students answer the question, he makes thumb up. If not, he makes it down.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yes. Sometimes when they're doing for maybe for slightly more advanced students, it could be a reading text and they have to choose if the answer is A, B, C, or D. And sometimes I put the questions on the board and I put A, B, C, D in 4 columns. And I just tell them, okay, who has A for question 1? and they can put their hands up. And I put the amount of hands for question A on the board. And then question B, option B, how many people? And if we can see that there's a pattern where they're between A and C, okay, A's and C's work together and decide who is correct. So they have to argue who has the correct answer. Especially when we know that the answer is A or C. Okay, one of the answers is correct. Work together, decide who is correct. So they're still working on it. They're going back and they're checking something that they have to know to assess each other, to see if they think their partner is correct or I am correct. So that can be quite powerful. I'm just going to show it to you. So just to give you a more explicit idea, I'm just going to show you the idea here. So maybe you understood me, but just in case, I'm just waffling and you're like, oh, she's talking too much. I'm just going to show it to you here. So you have like one, I wanted to make this bigger. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is not very orderly, but I'd have it on the board like this, and imagine they have to choose between options A, B, and C. So I'll just try to make this a bit bigger if I can. Okay, so A, B, C, and hopefully there'll be a D. And so I have it like that. And as we advance in the questions, we'll see how many votes we have for the correct answer. They've done the reading. And imagine here we have 7 people put up their hands that the answer is A, and 8 people or 20 people, but whatever. And you can see if it's like that, sometimes this works. Sometimes everybody has the same answer and it's correct. Okay, fine. But when it's like that and we're doubting, for example, there could be 17 and 20, then I get them to work. Okay, work with the person who has a different letter to you and decide who is correct. So it helps them to go back and scan more in the text together and decide if, it's a good idea. I think it works for me, especially for exam teaching, when they have to read and choose options and they're still thinking about the answer themselves and not just being given the answer. Okay, any more ideas from anybody?
I think it's a good idea to do this with our students, but I think after that, our students here in our classes, they maybe fight each other.
It helps them to scan more and to analyze text better and to doubt themselves when they're not sure. If they're not sure, go back and check again. Look, read the sentence carefully. What did the question really ask them to do? Because sometimes they just don't read the question carefully and they're looking for the wrong answer. So it's good for them to think, because then they begin to work together. No, because the question said this. Oh, I didn't see that. And I think they listen more to each other than to the teacher.
Yeah. Yes, you are right.
Okay, especially the older ones, in secondary. Okay, any more ideas from anybody here?
There is a point left, but I think they always do it at the beginning of the year, which is diagnostic assessment, diagnostic test or assessment, which to specify their level.
Okay,
in order
good.
To distribute them in, for example, level A or level B or C, without telling them so, because this is sensitive to some extent.
So they're not mixed then, Ibrahim. They're in different. So that could mean that the students are saying, "Oh, you're in the silly group and I'm in the intelligent group." They probably do you think they say that to each other in the playground? You're like, "Oh, I'm in the intelligent group and you're in the," because they do work it out for themselves. Do you think they do notice?
Yeah, we have to what we call diversify the distribution in order to make many levels.
Good. So
Not
it's less
only-
obvious. Yes.
Yes.
Because if it's like that, if it's distributed according to their marks, that could have a negative impact on the students.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Those who are below average will be frustrated and disappointed because we have to praise them all the time. As for me, when a student or a schoolboy, when he gets a low mark, I call the class to clap for him, really, to clap for him because this is as encouragement to be better in the next exam.
Good, that's
Uh,
lovely. So that's a good idea, Ibrahim. I'd love to be your student. That's nice. But that idea of like 2 stars and a wish, so keeping it positive and saying you did the task, well done. I know that was difficult for you to do, and you did it, well done. So that idea of not putting them down continually. And you stood in front of the class and you spoke in English for the first time. That's brilliant. Okay, another star. Improve accuracy with these words, so keeping it positive is important for them. Okay, good. So if you haven't done the module, please go in and look because there are always lots of useful tips for you for teaching. And you can maybe make a screenshot and put it into a document for yourself, which can be very useful. Okay, let's look at this. So here's the last task for you to do if you have time. You've got 2 minutes, but we can just look at this together and just think about what we saw from here and how we can apply it to this. So we have this task, which is from one of your books. And you can see you have vocabulary to do with hair. How could we use this with an assessment? Imagine they've done this vocabulary before. How can we assess it for them?
Miss Andy, may I?
Yes. Yes, Dina, go ahead.
Telling a story when you try to assess a student understanding of simple present, for example, when you connect that story with a character they like it, with a cartoon, for
Yes.
example, with Conan. So when you say that Conan who were chased by a gang, who wear a mask, who are stronger, then you relate that with the plural pronouns.
Yes, I can
While
sing. Yes, good, very good. Yes.
yeah, when there we have when he has a friend who defending him with like a singular pronouns, something
Good.
like that. I think that's a good way to assess a student.
And would you make a story for them and they fill in the spaces with the correct verb, or how would you do that?
Yeah, how they can use s with a singular
Okay.
noun or pronouns and
As
nouns.
assessment, yes. It's kind of
Yeah,
a summative task, but it's entertaining for them because it's a famous cartoon character and they're practicing singular and plural and present. Good.
yeah,
Mhm,
in simple cases.
good. Anybody else? We have here hair, and we have it says listen and read a poem, and it's about somebody talking about their family and describing their family.
I think we could use pair share. Yes,
Okay.
one student describe a person from this poem here and ask his partner to guess who is the person he is talking about.
Mhm. Very
Hmm.
good. So like a guessing game. I was thinking
Yeah.
about for the younger ones, because this would be for primary, I suppose, really, is to oops, sorry, 1 second. Is to say, Simon says, if you've got curly hair, stand up. If
Hmm.
you've got straight hair, raise your hand, or something like that. Or Simon says, point at the person with black hair. So you can make it nice like that, so it's interactive as well, not just the person not standing up all the time, but point at a person with a beard, and maybe if you have a beard, they're going to point at you. But if not, it's like, there's nobody with a beard.
Hmm.
So it can be fun, point at a person with straight hair yeah, so they can do that, and it can be fun for them, just making it more TBR. Okay.
Hmm.
Right. Okay, this is good. We finished for today. Let's check the chat for you. Simon says it's a good way for this activity. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Asma. You were thinking the same thing as me. Okay. 5th grade describe people. That's good. Okay. So that's fine. Now I'm just going to stop this and stop the recording.